Hello, welcome to Life Coaching on the Move. I'm your host, Dawn Fisk. I am currently out in the woods early in the morning. The weather has improved massively here in the UK, so I thought I would take you along on a dog walk and let you hear all the bird song and the noises, and come along with me. And if you can listen to this on your own walk, that would be even better if that's possible. So welcome. Today I'm tackling another way to get in control of our work, our workload, decrease our stress, feel more in control and less stressed, and then be on an upward spiral. So I hope it helps you. Just to say that have a look at the website www.milestone-coaching.co.uk. If time management and stress are a problem, then I have workshops, downloadable online programs that you can purchase, download and own and do at your own leisure, at your own time, at your own pace, in the comfort of your own home, and you then have that forever, and you can keep referring back to it if and when stress emerges again as an issue or time management. Also, there are workshops coming up, so interactive workshops that you can take part in on Zoom. There's a time management, short one, 2-hour time management workshop coming up, and a 3-week stress management workshop that's interactive coming up. So do have a look under those two tabs on the website. There's also the blog, and there's also a means by which you can contact me if you would like to. If you would like a coaching session or a couple of coaching sessions, career coaching, confidence coaching, stress coaching, whatever it is, I do a whole host, as you know, then just drop me a line and we can sort it out. And if you enjoy the podcast, please do let your friends know. It may be just what they need at the moment. That will be great. Thank you so much. You can hear the dogs in the background. I will crack on now to this week's episode of Life Coaching on the Move. Today, I thought I would focus on a little bit of time management focus. It's funny, often I use as inspiration for my subjects on the podcast topics that repeatedly come up with clients lately. And I find myself, it's weird, often different clients all bring similar issues, and there seems to be sometimes something in the air where there's a theme. Where even though they're not connected, they're often covering similar ground. I don't know what that's all about, or how that happens, but it does constantly happen, actually, and so many times, in fact, that it stopped surprising me. Anyway, the theme that has been cropping up a lot lately has been time management. Now, that might be because we're emerging from lockdown now, and we're all trying to adjust and get back into the rhythm of our sort of old life, pre-COVID life, but certainly at work. Here in the UK as well, the weather's turning for the better, hurrah! And so we're also trying to get out in the gardens and do all of those sorts of chores, as well as get back to work. The traffic now is so clearly and obviously worse. I mean, there's so many cars on the road now, so I do think, even though I thought lots of people would stay working from home, I do think a lot of people aren't. So they're trying to get back into their old rhythms, their old routines, getting up early, getting some makeup on or some work clothes, getting through the traffic, parking up, getting to the office, etc. And I think it's hitting hard for some people. That might well be why time management is cropping up in a lot of clients. They're feeling out of control, they're feeling chaotic, they're feeling stressed. They're coming to me with stress issues, it's affecting their sleep. And so we're addressing these things. Now, that was one thing. The second thing, I was also drawn into a YouTube hole like you are, or is it just me? Anyway, I was on YouTube the other day, and so I do not know how this happened, but I was watching footage of, I think they call them micro wins, micro bursts, mini wins, something like that. I'm sure there is a technical term for it, and I probably got it wrong, but basically these little mini storms, mini micro winds, are incredible. And I was watching the top 5 filmed ones. I mean, I'm sure there have been some horrendous ones, but people haven't filmed them, partly because maybe they were prior to video cameras and phone cameras. And I was watching these, and they are just, they come out of the blue, generally. These, they're like sort of tiny little hurricane winds and rain and hail, and they last just for minutes. But the devastation that they leave behind them, just in minutes, because of the sheer force of them, the power behind them, the speed and the short-term kind of burst. I think that's why they're probably called microbursts. Or so it's fascinating to watch. I wouldn't want to particularly experience one, that's for sure. But fascinating to watch. And I relate this somehow to time management because, as you know, I'm a firm believer in writing lists, whether you call them to-do lists or must get done lists or must remember lists or whatever. Anyway, I think it's really, really helpful. The more chaotic we are, the more under pressure we are, the busier we are, the more we have on our workload and more deadlines looming, the more we need to sit down and plan and write lists and prioritise on those lists, not just a dumping of everything in our heads that we must get done. We then need to take it to the next step and work through that list for a few minutes, thinking which of these 3... No, sorry, let me reword. Which 3 of this list must I get done? If time was short or something took me away from the desk or whatever, what in a short time, what must I get done first? So you've got your first 3 priorities there. And it makes perfect sense then to crack on with your priorities because you know they're done. However, that's slightly different. But if we've every day got a list of all the things we need to get done or we must remember in the next day or few days, that means we're prepared. That means we've got the right conditions. Now, I'm, as you can hear, walking in the woods, recording this. I don't know if you can hear that funny. Actually, that noise is a bird. I think some kind of crow or young bird. It does sound weird though, doesn't it? I'm in the woods and I've just taken a great shot of beneath a tree, looking up the tree trunk with a whole load, almost like stepping stones of fungi growing. Just so clever, so pretty. Now I know that wasn't there just a week or so ago. That wasn't there, that has appeared. Now that's appeared because the weather has changed. It's clearly the right conditions for it. And so when we have the right conditions, things grow, things emerge, things thrive in their right conditions. And isn't that true of us? I last year tried to plant a wildflower garden at the top of the garden. I didn't realise how hard that is to do. It sounds a simple thing. It isn't. It actually needs quite a lot of work and maintenance. But this year it's really taking shape. It's still not quite there. It's still full of the odd dock leaves and nettles as well. Although you could argue they're also wild. But it's looking great and there's so many wildflowers coming out. But we haven't, and I've done it so that we can get the butterflies and the bees. But there haven't really been any. But of course it's been really, really wet. It hasn't been the right conditions for them. It's now turned. Yesterday we had about 22 degrees and lovely sunny weather, and they're there. So get the right conditions and certain things thrive, appear, emerge, grow, etc. That's so true of us and our lives. So what we can do, even if the circumstances aren't right yet for certain things, we can get the right conditions. The conditions ready so that what we want, what we're aiming for, I'm working towards, when everything slots into place, it's the first natural step that will happen. It will automatically fall out of those conditions. So these all do link, by the way. I'm not randomly going everywhere. So if we create the right conditions, for example, we're under stress, we're battling with workloads, we're under pressure, we're trying to adjust. Our stress levels have gone up because our work is changing, our environment is changing, we're back at the office, things like that. We're making all of these adjustments post-COVID. Then we definitely need to write that list every day of what you need to remember to do the following day at work, or do it first thing in the morning on the train or something for that day. That then, and prioritise. That then means if and when you get yourself just a 10-minute window of sort of down tools, just a 10-minute window, you can be that human micro wind. If it's not happening, you've got lots of other distractions. Maybe you're at home and you've got kids at home and you're just not getting anything done, or the phone keeps ringing and Amazon deliver and you're not getting what you need done because of one pull at a time and another, and you're just one of those awful days. Or you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not firing on all 4 cylinders and you're not feeling it, you're perhaps a little bit under the weather, you're exhausted, you're stressed, you're not functioning well, and you're finding yourself procrastinating, wasting time, getting distracted by the washing machine, or if you're at work, people at the water cooler, or whatever it is, you're just not firing on all 4 cylinders. What that list does is, when you get just a micro burst of time, a 10-minute window, a few minute window, you can literally, figuratively, metaphorically reenact that micro burst storm. And refer to your list and just tick them off. One. And before you know it, you've ticked 5 of them off. You've worked through 5 of them. A small example of this is yesterday. I knew that I had a pretty full day, all of non-work related things, pretty much, apart from a couple of clients in the middle. But either side of that, I knew that I was to get up and get the routine going and the house all up and functioning, then get the dogs walked early and quickly. Then my son, 2 of his friends were being dropped off before 9, and I was going to get them in the car and drive them up to a theme park where they were having a day out to celebrate their end of exams, end of GCSEs. They're finished now, so they were going to celebrate, have some fun, well-deserved fun after such a terrible 18 months that the kids have had. So that was an hour's drive there, an hour's drive back. Then I needed to shower, get ready, do some clients. Then I had an eye test in the town, take some stuff back to a shop, and then get back up to the theme park to pick them up, to bring them back for me to go on Zoom for the evening on workshops. So the day was planned, but there wasn't much leverage that I had in between. I knew it was back to back, and it relied on everything going smoothly. However, I walked the dogs sooner than I thought I would and got all of that done sooner. And I had myself 15 minutes before the boys were being dropped off. I was all ready, tickets were printed, spending money was given, etc. I had myself 15 minutes and I suddenly realised, what? Now, if I didn't have a list, and that's the point here, if I didn't have a list and didn't know what really needed to be done, whether it's home-related admin or work or whatever, because I had a list and I thought, I've got 15 minutes, right, let's look at this. I then realised that this doesn't sound urgent, but in a sense it was. The dogs have very little dry dog food left. And I realised it's a Thursday, we're heading for a bank holiday weekend, that food is not going to last them through the weekend and I won't be able to get a delivery. So my first thing, straight on the website, order a couple of large sacks of dog food, get that ordered. Bang, that was done in 2 minutes. Email the surgery to get some repeat prescriptions for my boy. that needed to be done. That takes a good 3 or 4 days notice you have to give for the doctors to do the repeats and for it to go to the pharmacy, etc. And I thought, well, I need to do that because he's almost out, that done, etc., etc. So whilst they were only home admin, they do need to be done. And would I have got the time to have done them at any other point in the day? No. And I wouldn't have got that done if I didn't go into a micro burst of energy, knowing I had a 10-15 minute window. How could I use this to the best of my advantage? How could I be that mini wind and, with power, with focus, with determination, blast through that town? And I'm done achieving whatever winds are meant to achieve. I could do the same with my time management. So it meant they were trivial but important. They took time, they took some effort, not too much time. But I could just bang them off the list because I had a list. And I'm absolutely certain if I didn't have a list, I would have wasted that 15 minutes. I would have made a cup of tea, put the washing machine on maybe, perhaps put the news on, watched a bit of news, maybe sat on YouTube near the window waiting for the lads so that we could set straight off, and wouldn't have achieved anything. But so we can either choose to use those 10-15 minute bursts and achieve loads and feel relief, in control, etc. Now, my examples are not that urgent, but they could have been urgent. They could have been work related, where I could have had to send a proposal or a quote, or get some invoices out, send 3 invoices so that payment would come in over the weekend, something like that. It could have been a marketing blog that I needed to get out, or an advert for workshops or something like that, or a podcast, something like that. It could have been very, very work related and very focused. So what I'm saying for you is, when do you have or can create 10 or 15 minute bursts? Because that was there for me because it was circumstances. But equally, if it's a day where you're just struggling and you're just not firing on all 4 cylinders and you're beating yourself up, God, I'm not doing anything, I'm rubbish, I'm just not feeling it today. You're giving into that. And what we tend to do when we get in that mindset, we kind of write the whole day off. Well, we're in it now. Oh, this is just going to be a non-achieving day. What a waste of a day. I shouldn't have got up this morning, kind of thing. And we collude with it and we give into it. What we can do, however, is to make it, because a 10-minute burst is manageable. That's not too much for anybody. We can literally think and say to ourselves, okay, I'm not feeling it today. I'm just not functioning. I'm going to give myself 10, 15 minutes of craziness and just bang through a few things. Set my alarm for 15 minutes, then I'll stop. And I'll allow myself to down tools or go for a walk or whatever it is. But we can create these little gaps. And just, it's a little bit like knowing that we've only got 5% of our battery left on our device and we haven't got a charger with us. We're, sat in a queue somewhere, or we're in traffic. Well, not in traffic, but on a train or whatever. And we know, oh my God, I've only got 5% and I've got all of these things, these emails that must go. You address those. You don't sit there and carry on watching YouTube. You know you've only got 5% and you have to get these proposals out or whatever. You are completely focused and it's a microburst. But my word, don't we get lots achieved in those microbursts? So sometimes they're created for us, such as only 5% of our battery left. Sometimes where we've just got 15 minutes before that meeting starts so we can get straight into it. So that's what I want to say to you. So if you create the right conditions, i.e. the list is there ready, when those little windows emerge, pop up unexpectedly sometimes, maybe you're just about to go into a meeting and a couple of them email saying, I've been delayed, I'm stuck in traffic, I'll be 15 minutes. Right, you've got yourself a microburst. What can you achieve in those 15 minutes? If your list is written, you have it there. You have the right condition to just whiz through a few of them, cross them off, feel great, feel a sense of achievement, feel in control, feel less stressed, you're on an upward spiral. That's the whole point here, is looking after our mindset, looking after our well-being. That makes us feel so much better. And of course, that's self-perpetuating then, because once we feel on top of things and we feel we're now firing on all 4 cylinders, we're so much more productive because we've changed our mindset. Big breath. I'm going up a hill. I hope you're enjoying the bird song. It's absolutely glorious. So it's a bank holiday. Have a great weekend. For you, I would say, be mindful of creating conditions, all sorts of conditions, different conditions. Yesterday in the eye test, I was talking to the optometrist or the ophthalmologist. I can't remember what they are. And she was talking about coaching and life coaching and how people are struggling. And she was saying that she used to be contract or freelance. And she used to be all over the place in loads and loads of different stores and companies. And she loved the freedom. She loved just choosing where to go, when, made more money, etc., etc. However, she was explaining that when lockdown came, of course, that all changed. Furlough, all of it, because she wasn't permanently anywhere. And it felt really insecure for her. And when lockdown was lifted, she made the life choice to become permanent somewhere, to get a permanent company, employer, team, all of it. She realised she needed that sense of permanency. She also realised that she loved the work-life balance. She had got, for the first time ever, a lovely work-life balance. Through furlough, she realised other things matter, her fitness, her nutrition, her health, going out, exercising, etc. So she took a big life reflection as well, which I think many of us have. And so not only has she gone permanent, even though there's perhaps some less payment, she has balanced that in her mind, that she has got a better quality life as a result and is richer as a result because of a better quality life. She has also consciously decided that she won't work weekends unless they're really, really stuck. So she has decided a lifestyle choice to work hard during the week and then have weekends off and look after herself and her relationships and social and well-being. Even though her salary has taken a small hit, she has weighed that up against what's important. And I said to her, that is only possible because you took that decision to study, to train, to follow this career path. She was also saying that her other half is envious because he is in a job where he'll be emailing still at 10 o'clock at night because he's got a meeting at 7 in the morning and he's stressed and he's strained and he really is working under a lot of pressure, and envies her work-life balance and her ability to be in control and to be calling all the shots, actually. But in some senses, she has created those conditions for herself through her choice of work. She said, it's great, I work really hard here in the store all day, don't stop, back to back to back to back, love my job, love the team. But once my job is finished and we shut the store, I don't have emails in the evening, I don't have the pressure, I don't have slides to do for the morning or spreadsheets or anything like that. I just go home and work is done. I leave work behind until I come back to the store the next day. And so sometimes when we're deciding on a career change or deciding on a career path, that's one factor worth bearing in mind. Is it the type of job that you will have to take home with you and carry on and through the evenings, some weekends? Or is it the type of job where you can leave it behind and you can decide your hours and you can decide the structure of your employment, etc. So I was quite inspired by that and thought to myself, maybe with teenagers now who are just choosing their career paths and A-level courses and uni courses, perhaps that is a factor for me to chat to them about. Think about whatever career you go into in the end, what that lifestyle will be for you, what it will enable you to do or not do, etc., as well as where are your passions and your interests and so forth. So I guess to a certain extent that's the same with dentistry or chiropody. I never know if I said that right. Is it chiropody or chiropody? All those sorts of things, I guess to a large extent, once you're finished, you're finished. And there are many jobs like that, aren't there? However, there are also many, many, many jobs. They go on, and you never really finish in the day. Is that because of us? Is that because of our expectations of our boss? And does that need to be addressed? Or is it the expectations of our customers? Does that need to be addressed? And so on. So, have a great week. Either create microbursts or spot them when they're there. Use them. But to fully maximise them, be ready. Have that list ready. Know where you can go, what you will tackle, and go with it for just 10 minutes. You will be amazed at how much you can achieve in one of those bursts and how you feel at the end of it. That's what's important as well, because it's a great feeling at the end, and it's infectious. Once you've done it once or twice, you start looking for those. So good luck, enjoy it. Send me an email. Share your successes and experiences. I'd love to hear from you, or feedback or suggestions of topics for further podcast episodes. The only other thing to say at the moment is if you want to listen back to any of the past 100 or more episodes, please do. There's loads there on so many different subjects. If you're new to it, I would suggest that you start at the first 1 to 10 episodes, because they kind of lay out the whole of my kind of whole coaching approach and the foundation of it. So rather than go back to last week's and the week before, the most recent, go to the first 10 and start there. And then you can randomly pick in between. So good luck, take care, and I'll speak to you on next week's episode of Life Coaching on the Move.